take the nuts off these last few bolts here, and have a hoist on this here chain fall, and we're going to see if we can't pick the air cylinder assembly up off of this hammer and set it over here on this shaper table. Alright, as we watch along with me kind of taking this thing apart and moving the top off, let me state that unfortunately I did not capture the actual installation of this hammer on the concrete pad and wooden base. I say later in this video that I will, but when it came to the day to do that, I was by myself. I had no help. My camera batteries died and I just needed to keep going, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I had a rough few weeks with my camera batteries dying and my card loading up too much, and so I ordered some stuff to fix that, but I actually decided to start going. I got a new phone and ended up starting to film with that, and it's working a lot better anyway. So this is one of the last videos you'll see that depends on that particular DSLR I was using. The videos get lighter because I added some light pretty soon here too, but again, apologies for not taking video during the actual installation of the hammer frame onto the base, but some days you just get going in the shop, and if your camera equipment isn't working right, well, that's not the most important thing on that day. Funny thing is, the shaper was kind of in my way throughout a whole lot of this project. I had to scoot it around a lot with a pinch bar to get out of the way of this or that process or part moving through that area, but when it came to a place to set the top of the hammer down, it was perfect. It was big and sturdy. I was able to set it down without having to worry about retracting the actual pneumatic cylinder rod there. I could just kind of set it down past the shaper table, so that actually worked out real nice in this instance. You can see me fooling around with shims and trying to get it to sit straight, but in the end, just the two big blocks that I had were a pretty stable base for it. Well, it seems to actually sit better without any rearward support. Whoa! Yeah. Yeah, right there is without any rearward support. I mean, that's pretty damn good. I would just hate for it to ever fall off of there. Maybe I'll get a ratchet strap and bind this thing down to this table against these blocks, just to be good and certain, but that's pretty damn good. Alright. Well, the lifting eye that I made for that was nice and stout. The hoist barely seemed to feel the weight at all. This thing came down nice and balanced on these big pads without a struggle. And now I've got the height and weight of this hammer frame significantly reduced, making it possible to lift it high enough to get over the anvil back there, which I'll lift the hammer frame and then move the anvil
underneath it onto the pad. And I, of course, will take video of that.
Future me says, that's a dirty lie.
Well, the hammer's installed. The hoist performed admirably. The gantry didn't really seem to show any signs of undue stress, and that 2-ton Harbor Freight chain hoist and trolley worked just fine. I could tell there was a lot of weight on it, but it lifted just fine and lowered just fine, and it was very controllable. My bolt holes lined up pretty well. I got my bolts snugged down. Took a little finagling, of course, but it is sitting pretty nice. I got the air cylinder installed back on top of the hammer. After I put the frame down, I put the air cylinder back up. And now I've got the guides back on. Now I've got the ram back up in place, the sow block, and the lower die. The one thing I haven't done yet is install the rod back into the ram. I need to do some fix-up work on that, make a new tapered pin, and clean the tapers and stuff. So now I got to fit the oiler up here, get that running, and then I need to put the treadle back on over on this side right here, and the throttle valve and all that good stuff. But I really, can get a sense now of this thing's finished kind of presence in the shop. I got to clean all this concrete dust off of it. Got a couple little die alignment issues. If I sight along it, you can see it's got a little bit of an overbite. But that's okay, because I have to make some wedges to drive into these wedge ports here, one in the back. Once I drive a wedge in the back, it'll scoot these apart a little bit. And then these will come more parallel in front. Have to make a lower die key to fit in here. Gotta have good die keys. And fit the top die key in. By golly, get some air to it, and hopefully we'll have a functioning hammer. Take you along for that ride too. Just walk around it a little bit more. It's always fun to just kind of stare at a new machine in the shop and assimilate it into its context. This is the heavy forging end of the shop for sure now, with these two big old hammers side by side. Looks pretty major over there. Now I just got to clean up this awful mess from the install.